Kapanen's weekend? He didn't make the big splash with the points, but how did you think he played?
Good. It was to be expected. I think when you come in, sometimes it's like when you have a first game like that, you get blown up and you think that's how it's going to be every time. But I think it was good. We liked his compete level. I thought he was consistent in his effort level. He did a lot of things besides score goals. One of his things is he's an offensive player. He had some good looks on the power play. I thought he did a nice job in that situation, and that's part of what it is. Offense is going to come and go. You can't control it, but I thought that he was checked a little bit harder, and there was a good consistency level to his game, and that was encouraging to see.
How did you like Zatkoff's performance over the weekend, and how important was it to get both of those guys, he and Murray, both get positive results recently?
It was a good job by Jeff. He certainly was a factor in us being able to win the game, which is good for him, I think, in his confidence and in a type of game that he needed, in the sense where we needed our goaltender to have a strong performance to give us the best chance to win the game, and he did that. And like we continue to say, we like both guys. We think both guys give us a real good chance to win. So the game schedule set up where we could split the goalies, but it's going to be the same thing this weekend. Both guys are going to get some action with a 3-3. So we're looking for both those guys to play well this weekend.
How important was it to get positive results in the outcomes of the games with a week off, or a week between games this week, and kind of end things on a positive note and go into this week?
Yeah, it's nice. It was a situation where we've talked a lot about wanting to play the right way and get results at the same time, and we were able to do that. Both games were a little bit different, but it's nice where we can build on some things. But the thing I liked really on Sunday that you want to talk about is we found a win a game, and that's one of the most important things to be able to do is find ways to win games, and we were able to do that on Sunday. So we want to kind of take the biggest lesson from that. Wasn't just a win or the loss, but how we went about it.
Is Seymour going to be okay to interview? He's all right to.
He should be, yeah.
Okay. In that case, I have a Seymour question
Sure.
for you. Can you see him taking a similar path that Rowney took? He's been around a while, and when he comes up here, he plays pretty steady, and you kind of see what kind of role he plays when he gets a chance. Can he take a similar path?
Yeah, there's a chance for that. He's a guy that he's worked his way up. He's been real solid in Wheeling this year for Clark. He's been real consistent, and when he's had his opportunities to get called up here, he's done a good job. And he's followed a similar track as those guys in the sense that when he's come up, I think he's played well. He's learned some lessons, but when he's gone back down to Wheeling, his attitude and things we want him to work on at that level, he's done that, and you can see every time he comes back up, there's an improvement. Then he goes back down, then he comes back up, there's an improvement. And the guys that have done that, the Reed McNeils, the Ben Streets, the Carter Rowneys, those guys wind up, Tommy Kuhnackel, those guys wind up over the course of time. They get a taste, and then they go down and improve. That he's on that track, similar to those guys, to be able to hopefully be able to make an impact the rest of the year here with us and into the playoffs and going into next year.
Is size one of his strengths? He's a hard guy for forwards to get around.
Yeah, I think when you say is size one of his strengths, he uses his strength for sure. He's a big guy that plays big. He's difficult to play against down low. He uses his reach with a real good stick, and it's nice when you have big guys like that play big. They're difficult to play against in the hard areas of the ice, and Clark's developed that a little bit better over the course of this year, and that's why you want to have big, strong players, but they have to play that way, and he's found a way to do that.
With the playoffs right around the corner, do you see a difference in the mindsets in the locker room, being with veterans who've been through this many times before, and the rookies who are excited to go through it for the first time?
Yeah, that's an interesting point, because I believe there's only 2 players on our roster now, 3 players if you want to include Zatkoff. I believe Brett and Chorney were not with us last year on the run. I think every other player that's on our roster was there, whether as an ATO coming in and being part of that. So I think that's real important, and that's been a little bit of a unique situation for us now, where I continue to say, like, our veteran leadership has been excellent, but it's those second and third year pros that have now gone through the playoffs. They've gone to back-to-back conference finals. They've been through tough series. You have that core group, so it's not just your quote-unquote veteran leaders. You have your middle guys that are really been a core fabric of our team the last 2 or 3 years, that are now in also leadership roles. And our rookie class that's here now, those guys were all part of it, and I believe almost every guy got some games either at the end of the regular season or through the playoffs. So I feel like in that situation, there's an energy within your team at different levels. You know, Tom Kostopoulos' energy is different than Josh Archibald's, but we really like our experience and the core fabric of our team. Like, the guys play for each other, and I feel like we got some good experience in there, regardless of level of pro.
That's interesting. So are you basically seeing a benefit when you gave those guys playoff experience last season, as even though they didn't have much regular season experience, they got playoff games, now you're seeing the benefit now because they have experience in that level?
Yeah, you know, it's different because when they, you know, it was actually worked reversal, because when they came back this year and all of a sudden they got into training camp, there's a different mentality than it is in the playoffs. It's in how you practice and your meetings and really reestablishing your foundation. When they come into the playoffs, a lot of times the practices are shorter. There's a little bit less video. It's more strictly about the games, and it's kind of like game day off, light practice game, where they had that experience, and now they had to go through the regular season, and I thought that was a huge part of their development. And now here they are a year later, more experienced players because of the regular season, but most importantly, they're more experienced because they've been part of a playoff run, and they actually were involved. They saw the intensity level of the games and how we do things, and that's definitely a factor when you get into playoff situations.